What's up, guys? Welcome back to the final episode of Daily Drive. I'm Carson.
And I'm Martin.
And today we got a whole bunch of news for you guys, like the end of the Dodge Challenger. There's a new Toyota Lexus recall. That's pretty rare to see. There will be a new Porsche 911 coming out in 2025, as well as a brand new Chrysler Pacifica. The Porsche and the Pacifica are expected to have huge lifts, like facelifts, body-wise and engine-wise. And let's get right into it. Doing a segment in the middle of this episode about everything that happened over the year, the past 12 months of 2023, since it is a new year. We'll be going over everything that happened and all the news and big events that happened over 2023, as well as a pretty cool interview with the YouTuber Performance on Wheels. We'll have him at the end of the episode talking about the cars that he owns and the startup to his channel and what his life is like. So yeah, let's get right into it.
So on December 22nd, Dodge made the last Dodge Challenger in Brampton, Ontario. The Hellcat was a pretty cool car. It was a 6.2 liter V8 that was supercharged and making about 797 horsepower. And it was also the fastest American muscle car ever produced. I'm sad to see it go, but yeah.
Like Martin said, this will be the last Challenger, and we don't really know what's going to happen to Dodge after this, because what really kept them going was the Charger and the Challenger, and as well as like their little Chrysler mix with the Chrysler 300. So we don't really know what Dodge is going to do. Of course, the next cars coming out are probably going to be electric from them, and hopefully this can draw in more of an audience again, like they did with the gasoline Chargers and Challengers.
Yeah, and it's rumored that in the next Charger and Challenger, it's going to have the inline four that's going to be in the 2025 TRX, as well as an electric motor train. But
yeah, it's very interesting just to see, what 2024 or 2025 will bring for Dodge. So yeah, and then moving on into the new Toyota and Lexus recall. All right, so with this new Toyota recall, from an article from NBC News on December 25th, Toyota recalled about 1.12 million vehicles worldwide due to an airbag malfunction. The recalls were for vehicles from 2020 to 2022. These vehicles include the Toyota Avalon, Toyota Camry, Toyota Corolla, Toyota RAV4, Toyota Highlander, and as well as some Lexus vehicles. This is very surprising coming from Toyota, but lots of cars have had airbag issues. It's known for cars, airbags to sometimes malfunction, and of course it's a very big dependability on the car. If you get in a crash, you need an airbag to keep you safe.
moving on to the 2025 Porsche 992. So in an article from Car and Driver, the new 2025 Porsche 992 is expected to come in about 6 months. It's going to have a new hybrid system and will also have the 3.6 liter engine for some trims. It'll also have a few detail changes in the interior. So far we don't have a lot of information on it, but from just what I saw from the leaks and the photos, I like it a lot.
Yeah, and we'll of course have those photos on the screen for you, and you can also check out in the description, we'll have a link for that. I think it's pretty surprising to see Porsche finally, I think because it's their first hybrid model,
Yeah.
they finally gave in and got the hybrid model. Of course they have the Taycan, which is fully electric, so it's kind of weird to see how they have an electric car before a hybrid. Alright, and of course we have those pictures on screen for you guys, and as well you can find the link for Car and Driver about the new 2025 Porsche 992 in the description. I think it's pretty surprising from Porsche. They finally gave in and got the new hybrid system. Of course, this is their first hybrid model, correct?
Yeah.
Yeah, and I think it's pretty crazy how they are just getting a hybrid model when they have a fully electric car, which would be the Porsche Taycan. Hopefully, it adds a little more power to the 992, and hopefully 2025 will also be a great year for Porsche. I know me and Martin are both really big Porsche fanboys, so this is
I like to own a Porsche in the future.
Yeah, it's a great new step for Porsche.
Mm-hmm.
Alright, moving on to the brand new 2025 Chrysler Pacifica.
So starting off in the front, it's going to have a new infotainment system as well as updated climate control settings. I've never really been a fan of like the volume dial for the shifter. Just looks weird to me.
Yeah, when I was in Hawaii, we actually had they have pretty new cars over there. There's a whole lot of tons of SUVs and minivans, I should say. And the Chrysler that we were in also had the little shift knob, and my friend's dad thought that was the coolest thing. I don't know, I just feel like it feels weird to like not like shift it. Actually, you're spinning a dial, and some people that are probably renting that car, if they don't see like the park drive, like all the little letters, they can maybe get that confused or the volume. So you obviously don't want that to happen. I know, of course, you have to press the brake to initiate that, but I mean, you could accidentally switch into neutral, and who knows, that might not work out in that person's favor about there.
It's also going to be getting some like new luxurious seats. In the photo here, it's like a brown leather and it has some pillows, and I think that's for like back support. And you can see the panoramic sunroof as well.
And I think, obviously, most brand new cars, they do have the heated and maybe ventilated seats. I know, of course, lots of older cars have heated seats, but a newer thing is the ventilated seats. And I think this is probably going to be a good road trip van. Of course, it's a minivan. You can haul everything, haul your whole family in there.
It has stow and go.
Yeah, and I'm pretty sure it might have the massaging chairs in the front. I'm not sure about the back, but I know lots of new cars and kind of on the higher end, higher spec cars have the massaging seats. And me and Martin were both talking about it. We both agree that Chryslers, the Chrysler Pacifica in specific, have been taking over the minivan scene.
Yeah, right.
They've
now
basically been the minivan for families to buy because they have so much great stuff added into it. And you can see near the cup holders, it has two USB Type-C and USB ports, as well as a audio jack, and just tons of space. And this is a very exciting van. Do you have any other opinions on it?
Yeah, it looks pretty nice. I'd say my favorite van is the 2014 Chrysler Town & Country. I just love the way it looks, and it's pretty spacious inside.
You can't go wrong with the older minivans. A lot of people will take an older car over the newer cars just because of like how much they actually cared about it. Now these cars, I feel like nowadays they just make these cars, trucks, and SUVs, minivans. They just make them to roll them out, and just give them to people.
All right, so now we're gonna go over some of the cars that came out in 2023. Not all of them, just some.
Yeah, and we're gonna go by each month this year and pick out, in our opinion, the top cars that came out on each month.
So in January, the Honda Accord came out. In February, the Fisker Ocean. In March, the GMC Canyon and the Chevy Colorado. In April, the BMW M2. In May, the GMC Hummer EV. And in June, the Acura Integra Type S.
All right, then moving on to the last 6 months. July, the GR Corolla came out. In August, there wasn't really that much cars that came out. We couldn't really find a big, name car that came out, so we just put a little thing. Acura saw the largest increase in buying cars over the entire year. So Acura had one of the highest increases out of every other car brand of people buying their cars. In September, the Chevy Silverado EV came out, and in October, the Mustang Dark Horse came out. In November, the Lexus GX. I think that's probably Martin's car of the year, car/SUV of the year. And then in December, the Cybertruck, and as well as a pretty big news article, Dodge releasing their final Hellcat and Charger and Challenger. In my opinion, I think my car of the year has to be the Acura Integra Type S. I think it was a very good regen. I know a lot of people didn't like it at first, but I think it's grown on a lot of people, especially me.
Yeah.
This is our interview with our special influencer. Would you like to state your name, please?
Yeah, hey guys. My name is Austin Pasica, and I run a YouTube channel called Performance on Wheels.
Nice. And what actually got you into cars?
I've been into them pretty much my entire life. It was entirely my dad. It was his hobby growing up, and I was born into it. So I grew up with a split family, so every weekend I'd go to my dad's and we'd do something car-related my entire childhood. So kind of grew into it.
Nice.
So what made you start making videos on YouTube?
From a younger age, I always wanted to be a YouTuber, and I was terrible at it. My videos were just absolutely stupid. I made videos on my iPod and my iPhone 4, just walking around cars. And I just dropped it from there because they were so bad. And I started getting really into photography. So I was taking car photos for quite a while. Every year for Christmas or birthday, my dad would get me a trip that we would go on together. And for a few years in a row, it was going to a different driving school. And one of the years I went to Seattle to the Dirtfish Rally driving school. And we had some time to kill when we were there. So we took our rental car, which was a Dodge Challenger RT, which my dad used to own for 7 years. And we had just a bunch of time to kill. So we decided to make a YouTube video on it. And the video got like 30,000 views in a couple of days.
Oh,
and
wow.
we decided to make another one. So
Nice.
we just kept going.
Yeah, I feel like that's how like every kid start off. Like, I always want a YouTube channel, and it's either you stick with it or you just kind of forget about it after like a year or so.
Yeah, it was our first videos were terrible, just bad.
Yeah. All right, so what was your first car, and then what is your dream car?
Okay, my first car was a 2001 Pontiac Grand Prix GTP supercharged.
Gotta have the supercharged.
Yeah, it was actually pretty quick. It was a nice
Yeah, those
car.
Pontiacs are no joke. Some of them, see on the drag strips, they're actually pretty crazy how fast they are and how much horsepower they have.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've seen one in person that had the same motor as that, but it was twin charged, so it was a big turbo and supercharged. It had like 800 wheel horsepower. Just looked like a stock little Pontiac, and it was ridiculous. And to finish answering the other one,
the dream car.
Oh, yeah.
My dream car is a 2018 Dodge Viper ACR Extreme Aero.
I love Dodge Vipers. I think they're like, I feel like they don't get enough appreciation. They're kind of like, I feel like forgotten
They
about.
do now.
Yeah, now they do.
Yeah.
Back then,
They
kind of were forgotten about.
When they were in production, nobody cared.
Mm-hmm.
Now that they're not in production, they are more than double the value that they were new.
Yeah.
So,
all right.
and your question was, I'm sorry, what was it?
It was, what has been your favorite car review so far you've done?
I've done a lot of really cool ones. That one's kind of hard to answer. The one that I was most excited about was the Dodge Viper.
So you got to review it?
Yeah.
Nice.
The most expensive or probably coolest car that I've done was a pretty heavily modified Audi R8.
Ooh.
The one that I was most excited about expecting at all, this car was brand new and nobody had one, was probably the Rivian R1S.
Oh yeah, Rivian.
That was.
How do you feel about those trucks now that they've like kind of branched out to SUVs? How do you feel about them?
Well, the R1S was the SUV. That is the SUV.
Oh, okay.
That's the first one that I think it was the first one in the state. One of the first few in the country.
Wow.
The R1T is the truck. The R1S is the SUV. And I think they're the coolest electric car that's on the market based on all the other ones. I've made a video on a Model S Plaid, which is definitely faster.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't know. There's something about the R1S and the R1T that are just awesome. And they look so cool.
All right, and then for our last question today, what was your favorite vehicle that you've owned?
Owned is the car that I have right now. It was one of my achievable dream cars for quite a while, which is the C5 Corvette Z06. I bought it in March. It was hit by a deer, and it was never repaired or reported to insurance. So it was a clean title car with one owner that hasn't been driven in 10 years because it was hit by a deer. So I spent the entire, probably 4 months rebuilding it, and then I drove it across the country on like a 5,000-mile road trip. So it was, it was pretty cool. That's one car that I will never sell.
Yeah.
So I noticed on your video on the 2024 Mustang GT, you got the vehicle from Apple Autos. Do you get all your vehicles for your car reviews from Apple Autos?
No. I do work for Apple Autos. It's my full-time job.
Okay.
I'm a marketing manager. My job there is shooting videos and creating content for the company to grow their social media platform.
Okay.
So I would say the majority of new cars I get are from Apple, but a lot of vehicles are from viewers that have reached out or people that live in the area that I'm close with. So that Rivian was actually a viewer on a different video that sent me an email and asked if I wanted to make a video on his car.
Cool.
the Audi R8 was somebody that I met through YouTube that I've made a video on. He had an AMG GTR and AMG GTS. Made videos on both of those and his R8. A lot of them have been from people, but I would say the majority of new vehicles are all from Apple. Yeah, I can just take whatever I want home.
Yeah.
All right. Well, thank you for that. If you want to shout yourself out real quick so they know where to find you on YouTube.
Yeah, absolutely. My YouTube channel is Performance on Wheels. I have a TikTok and Instagram with all the same handle, so it's growing pretty rapidly, and it's starting to hopefully become a full-time job in the next few years for me.
Yeah. Well, me and Martin will make sure to stay up to date with you, and hopefully the viewers will as well.
Yeah.
Well, thank you for calling with us. Thank you for sharing your experience with the YouTube and car scene and what got you and all that. And yeah, thank you.
Thank you.
Absolutely, you guys.
All right, well, thank you guys for watching this last episode of Daily Drive. Again, I'm Carson.
And I'm Martin.
And big thank you to Austin at Production on Wheels on YouTube for doing the interview with us. And we really enjoyed these past 5 episodes with you guys, recording all this. Martin, you have anything else to say?
No, not really. Maybe we might do something like this in the future, but who knows?
Yeah, like us personally making some videos. But yeah, this video was recorded in JHS, and all rights go to Jordan High School. Thank you.